Step 2, we're going to talk a little bit about actually setting the goals. And again, we want to make sure that you set goals in all your life areas. Again, this is all about, I'm going to talk more specifically about real estate. But everything I'm saying here, that a lot of times people think, oh, you're just talking about money. And this is not just about money. You know, it's about the mental, the spiritual, the physical, family, money, you name it. Every single life area. You can cut these life areas in any way you want. But we should be setting goals in every single life area. And again, this is about working on your life. All right? It should be linked to the vision statement that we talked about earlier in terms of what is going to get you really passionate, or as a good friend of mine would say, what makes you all jiggy inside. And so that is so key that you link to your vision statement. And I want to talk a little bit about conquering fear, because this is, I think, the biggest thing that keeps a lot of people from going ahead and making that cold call or knocking on that door or, you know, setting a $100,000 or $1 million goal for your real estate business. It's fear. We're all afraid of it. You know, I'm afraid of a lot of things, but it's really, there's a great book that I tell people to go get, and it's called The 4-Hour Work Week. It's a 4-Hour Work Week by, have you read it? Tim Ferriss?
In the middle of it. It's fabulous.
It's a great book, and it's just, it has all kinds of great information in it. But one of the things he talked about is conquering fear equals understanding fear. And this was so refreshing after I read that book about 9 months ago. This was so refreshing to me when you really think that you're afraid about doing something. If you're afraid of asking somebody to dance, which I never am with you. And or if you're afraid of knocking on that door or making that sales call. You have to figure out and really have a conscious discussion with yourself. Again, conscious discussion with yourself. What's the worst that's going to happen? You know, and how you play it out and all what's going in between your two ears is really going to determine the outcome of that thing. So you really want to try to figure out whatever it is, whether it's buying a house, asking somebody to dance, asking somebody out, making a sales call. I still have a fear right now of knocking on doors. I was never good at it. I used the excuse that it was really tiring. I didn't really want to walk around all those neighborhoods. And, you know, in Pacific Heights, it's hard to reach people and blah, blah, blah. And that's all it is. So really just think about conquering your fear and actually really addressing your fear in that manner. Kaizen. How many people here have heard of Kaizen? Great, John. Kaizen is just an amazing thing that, again, has been a real big aha for me this year. And Kaizen is the old Japanese philosophy, essentially, of, you know, the road of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. And one of the things, going back to the fear thing, is that Kaizen is all about taking baby steps, taking small steps. As one of my psychiatrist friends of mine says, and well, in psychiatry we call it taking baby steps. But really what Kaizen is all about is taking really super small steps to achieve your goal. And there's a whole book about it. You can go out and Google it. There's huge resources on it. But very simply put, it's really all about just taking really small steps. For instance, I absolutely hate, I'm going to affirm this to everybody I know in the world, doing taxes. I hate doing taxes. The thought of it sends me into a tailspin. I break out with welts, the whole 9 yards. I just absolutely hate it. But a perfect example would be is I had to put my taxes together and just get the information together for my tax accountant. You know, maybe taking the folder out of the filing cabinet and putting it on the credenza. I mean, it's that silly.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the kind of stuff that actually breeds confidence, because when you start taking real baby steps, like maybe knocking on a door or making cold calls to expireds, if you maybe pull up the expireds, maybe pull up one expired and print it out and put it on your desk, and just sort of look at that. It'll start giving you more confidence that you can continually get to that goal of actually making that call and feeling comfortable about doing it. There was one example I had that there was a lady in London that I read this book on, and she actually wanted to quit putting sugar in her tea every morning. So every single morning, this sounds really silly, every single morning she would knock off one sugar crystal. And it took her a year, and she is no longer using sugar in her tea. But Kaizen has so many great benefits, and think about that. I mean, it's really, you don't have to take these quantum leaps sometimes. Sometimes you need to just sort of nudge yourself in a real small way. All right? All right, so what's the other one? Of course, everybody knows, or many people know, I'm really cool on affirmations and vision board. Anybody that wants to go to my office can go to look at my vision board. I've got some pretty crazy things on my vision board, things that I want to do. I've got a picture of Tom Brady flying in a private jet, because that's what I want to do. I also got this muscular guy on my vision board too that has probably 3% body fat because that's what I want. No, it's not. I like it. No, but seriously, when you look at things all the time, you know, I don't know if anybody here has seen the movie The Secret, but I've got a bank balance, one of my bank statements on my vision board, where I just wrote in a bunch of zeros. And I'm sitting there looking at that thing every single morning when I'm making my sales calls. And what this does, again, is it just fires the passion, if that's important to you, to go ahead and maybe use Kaizen to go make the calls, to do whatever it is. Because, you know, I don't like doing cold doors. And you may not like doing cold anything. You may not like actually even calling your sphere of influence. That's the thing that blows my mind, is the people that they have in their personal database, they don't like calling them. And these are the people that you know and you like. And that's why I always said, you know, the joke I've told you guys before is I don't understand why people don't make cold calls, because you know, you're rejected all the time by your lovers and your friends and your parents and everybody else in your world, and you don't mind that. So why do you mind if you're rejected by somebody you have absolutely no knowledge of? You don't even know this person. I never understood that. But regardless, I think what's really important, though, is to use whatever tools that you can to stimulate the passion to get you to your goal. So I use the vision board and then affirmations. I think affirmations are really important. I've noticed a significant increase in my business and my health and a lot of things by using affirmations. And you know, all affirmations are just positive statements. You can have negative affirmations. If you say yourself that you're fat, guess what? That's an affirmation. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that your affirmations are really exciting. You want to make sure they're positive. And you want to use emotion. And one of my favorite affirmations is to say, I am excited that. I am passionate that. You know, I'm so excited that I'm weigh 200 pounds. Or I'm so passionate that I'm going to get 2 escrows this week. Even if I had no idea how I'm going to get the escrows or all my closings close on time. It's really key that you do affirmations that are really going to get you fired up, even if you're not even in that state of mind. Because I'm telling you, like for instance, I don't know if any of you live in the upper market area, but like this morning I was running in the upper market area at 6 o'clock in the morning and I was screaming my affirmations out. Now to my neighbors, I'm just some crazy ass, tall guy running in the upper market area. But the truth is that when you wake up in the morning and you don't feel like making that cold call or meeting with that client or whatever, and you make an affirmation up front, 6 o'clock in the morning, saying, this is how my week is going to be, this is how my day is going to be, and you keep affirming that to yourself throughout the day, guess what? That's how your day is going to be. I almost guarantee it. And I actually, when I'm making my sales calls each morning, I know Cece saw me prospect last week, I have a very sort of set thing. I'm looking at my vision board while I'm making the calls. I've got my affirmations in front of me, and I've got my goals in front of me in all my life areas. And so I'm constantly staring at all those things, because when I start to feel like I don't want to make that call, after I've been calling for an hour, I start looking at Tom Brady in a private jet. I think to myself, okay, I'll make one more call.